Yeah.
Now you can.
Take care on the gangways as they can be steep. Use the handrails. Take care on the gangways as they can be steep. Use the handrails and ask for assistance if needed. When you come back on board, you and your personal belongings will be seeing impact on the environment, and we've introduced sustainability programs on our ships to limit the impact of single-use plastic. The latest information on our commitment to the environment and sustainability. Thank you for taking these simple measures to keep everyone safe.
Sätt den. Och.
More richer Pinot Noir, and that is the
Tartar sauce.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, enjoy.
immigration inspection. Please be in possession of your passport and guest identification card when proceeding to Jai Li, Cheng Nam Lu, Zhu Shen Lu.
To you from the bridge. Well, I hope that you've all had the most relaxing and enjoyable morning at sea here on board Queen Elizabeth.
Just don't worry about the rest of it. You know.
People think I'm loopy. I'm go. Oh, I remember.
It's the It's the crew. It's the performance.
에이그 플라스. 하치미츠 타르트. 너무 스위트.
全部今取っちゃえば誰もいない。
Yes.
Well, since 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon until 1 o'clock today, Queen Elizabeth has sailed a total distance of 850 nautical miles to the southeast of the nearest land, which is Hillbrook
ordered for you to teddy this one. Get up from under that.
Guess who's back?
Alright. Thank you very much.
For thousands of years, the flooding over and resurfacing of a flat, treeless body.
While you all what comes about you. Don't be a naughty.
I'll start with the side salad.
How are you doing about calligraphy? Yes. Oh, somebody's trying kanji, Japanese character kanji. Yeah, very
You know her?
It's very beautiful.
Oh,
You're not
Very
Japanese.
cute.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but you can write Chinese.
すごい上
You can
手。
write
So beautiful.
Chinese, yes.
You wrote yourself? No.
Whoa.
Oh, that's
rapid so she went from manic to depressive, and each stage she had very high mania, control crazy, responded to that. So it's not a problem. But she got, oh no, it's not that she stayed 15 days. She got consecutive, well, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So she was in, and it brought her from the depths of, it was horrible. And then they said, okay, you know, she's
I wonder whether they're going to put the covers or what.
board tickets and also individual ship card handy, as it is a fast process for the last set of expenses. I think it'll be okay.
Very few home cards, hard to understand on the day.
From a bridge, the boat is ready and secured. Please have your voyage card in your hands and your ticket.
Threshold in the doorways there, going from the upper cabin out to that second deck viewing, tripping up over that raised threshold there in the doorway. So that's all for me for now.
A lot of rain. So it is very rare when we have a day that is A, not raining, and B, actually thing we'd like to show you today, and we get to show you some Steller sea lions. They are probably my favorite animal.
Back off of our boat and onto your ship so you can get onto whatever else you've got planned on this gorgeous
そう
ちょっと一口乗って
チェンジ
中にチェンジしていいの？
目に切れるんですね。
何でも好きなように。
Everything to Norwegian.
But when I look at a map,
Alright. 117 leave. Are you ready? Yes, yes. A couple of no's, a lot of no's. Okay. For those who haven't, just believe whatever I say today. And for those who have, I'm just gonna pick up some Tylenol. I'm sorry. Alright. Does everyone know why whale like salt water?
That's why I was asking you which one you
When he was
take.
turning, I was asking, well, about you talking and turning.
Right here and goes around in a circle. And there's another display right here to check out. And there's a picture.
I would use that fork. Okay, thank you very much.
Then we got
そうかな。
항상 보더니 날 보고 그냥 가네.
어디 갈까? 날 보러 오는 게 아니라 갔어요?
Well, everyone's back on board now. Our pre-departure check's just about complete. And the manoeuvre this evening will thrust laterally off the...
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. Oh. River hand doing mine.
아, 힘졌다.
やっぱり若い人たちからあるな。
いいですか？
お願いします。おお。
いや、ハウス。
¿Coca-Cola con hielo?
Sí, sí. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
is on the back side of the Empress Hotel at the Victoria Conference Center, right, very close to $1 billion. And of course, this is worldwide. Now, this little area off to my right here, this is being... But unloading. Thank you very much for visiting Victoria, and have yourself a wonderful evening tonight.
でもホテルの部屋という手前なんかは完全にもうコンドミニアムとして売ってるお家でしょうね。あそこですか。今3匹ぐらい、2匹。大阪だの京都だの東京だのね今。またカレンシーで払うんです。その方がレートがね、私たちのカード会社、その時。
サイズがほぼ同じって感じだな。